134-96 was the final. So let's get into some of the things that stood out in this game. First guy I want to talk about is Devin Vassell. We're starting to see what he's made out of. What more tools does he have in his tool belt that he hasn't needed to showcase yet? And one of the ones right away was his playmaking skills, his ability to drive into the paint and create for others. In this example right here, drawing the big man, finding Jakob for a wide open basket. It's hard to make the easy ones or to create easy baskets. The ball in DeJounte and Derek White's hands, very hard to create an easy basket. Devin showed the capability of doing that a little bit, as well as high-level finisher in transition. There was a few times where we caught him in transition. He was able to put the ball in the hole. It was just kind of a wild play. Didn't want to see him go up so much and possibly get hurt. You know what I mean? Devin Vassell was looking to, I think, put somebody on a poster, just like anyone else that night. Couldn't hit a basket, right? Vassell finished with 13 points in 19 minutes. I just want you to see, he turned down a really good shot in Josh Richardson right here, but that's what superstars do. They don't pass the ball. Like Kobe would not have passed this out to whoever is out there waiting to hit that three. And Devin Vassell showed a little bit of stinginess, but in all the right way. I mean that in the best way possible. Capabilities on offense, and what I want to see is he going to be able to kind of maintain that level as he elevates the defensive side as well. I think as a team, the Spurs shot 11 for 42 right from the three-point line. We put up 42 threes though. That's a good sign. Doug McDermott talked about the Spurs playing with more pace this season, and last season they were shooting around 37, 38 threes a game, if I'm not mistaken, and to put up 40 plus. One of the players that stood out, right? One of the most positive kind of light bulbs that caught my eye was Isaiah Roby. He came off the bench in the last game. One of the things I kind of want to see is he going to project himself into more minutes or even to a starting role? Out of him, Keita Bates-Diop, Jeremy Sohan, out of those three guys, Isaiah Roby looked more ready. Obviously, he has a lot of experience playing in OKC because it was a really nice Euro step finish in transition. He's very handsy. He's a really great defender, knows how to get his hands up in the passing lanes and just kind of cause havoc. And he did that a few times where he was able to deflect a pass and get out on the break and finish in transition. Defensive deflection into an offensive basket. That defensive to offensive transition there that he brings to the table was something I didn't know was there. He had a couple good shots in the game, a couple good rebounds. His intuitiveness was there, and he was able to get quite a few deflections and look pretty good on offense, look poised on offense as well. Next guy that we need to talk about is Tre Jones, right? We all kind of think Primo's in that starting spot. We really don't know. He showed in this game that he's very heady, that he's been working on a few different areas to his game. He put up a three, I think, but the most impressive part of Tre Jones's showcase against the Rockets, at least, was his ability to get into the paint and recognize when his opportunities to score are there. I think he put up about 4 or 5 floaters. Tre Jones, he showed a lot of poise with the ball. He showed a little bit of, one of the things that stood out to me was Jabari. What I saw out of Tre Jones was really positive. A lot of ball security, a lot of trust that you can see that Pop has in Tre Jones. So now some of my last kind of takeaways from this game before I talk about the rookies. Some of my big questions: Joe Wieskamp, what are we doing with this guy? What are we doing with Joe? I love Joe. Obviously, he's a great guy and he has a great shot, and that's why he's here. We all saw it in Iowa. But I have yet to find any reason to really keep Joe on the floor, Joe Wieskamp, Joe Weezy. And I like him as a player, but I would like him better if he was like always looking to pull that trigger and be a little bit more of a astute on defense, right? And not be. It seems like the coaching staff and the organization loves something about him. Now, if it's his jump shot, I think it's only happening in practice because we're not seeing him shoot many threes. The only three he made in this game was a 3-pointer off the glass, off the wing, which is lucky. If you play basketball, it was a lucky shot. Everything else looked terrible, right? So Joe Wieskamp, he's not an elite defender. He's showing the capability of defending sometimes, but take up a roster spot over someone like Keita Bates-Diop or Romeo Langford, who I'm going to talk about right now too. Romeo Langford, I am no more clear right now on what type of player he is or how he can impact the game than I was before in this game. So I would like to see him get a couple more minutes in the next preseason game or two. Zach Collins, man, this guy played plenty of minutes. That was points. He had 11 points in 20 minutes. Blake Wesley had the most minutes as well. So, these guys are looking rough, and I know Zach Collins is on his comeback tour. But there's real far in betweens. You see a little bit of good, and you see a lot of frustrating moments from Zach Collins so far in this preseason. First impressions of the rookies, we know that there is going to be a lot of opening jitters. We know that what we saw and their first showing is not who they are and what they're going to be about. And I think we saw plenty of jitters and stuff like that from all three of these guys. Now, pick number 9 in the draft this year, and that's Jeremy Sohan. This matchup between him and Tari Eason was awesome. I mean, that was a matchup that I can't wait to see for many years to come. Was one of the guys, him and Jeremy Sohan were my 1 and 2 in the draft at the position. And of course, I think Eason's a little bit older. He's a little bit more ready to go, I think, mentally. He had a great summer league. Jeremy Sohan was a little bit lost out there in the beginning. You see him kind of just floating around, trying to seek out opportunities to impact the game. And I think that's something that we're going to have to wait and be patient on is give him the time to get comfortable, because he's like a comfort type player. I think the more comfortable Sohan is in a role, in a position, he's going to flourish after that, right? He's not just going to come in day one and set it on fire. He's very skilled in a lot of different areas, but he's not overly skilled to really like showcase any one of them. There are some really nice defensive rotations. Noah Magaro George did a great film room on his play. Go to the home screen on this channel. It's Friends of Spurs Tube TV. You'll find it there. But he did a lot of great things on defense, a lot of great help side blocks. We want to see, he had a 3-point shot. He had another one that didn't look all that great. So offensively, whatever. Defensively, I want to see him get more comfortable so he can be aggressive, have more trust in his own instincts and his rotations to come from more help side blocks, more rebounding. We need a little bit more rebounding out of him, where you saw where his physicality is going to be a huge asset. There was that one time where he got a rebound. I think he advanced it up court. That's another thing too. He was able to grab that rebound and boom, we're off and running, right? He put the ball on the floor once or twice just to push the break and push the ball up, but then I think it was a turnover, and it was going to be a wide open layup down at the other end, and then here comes Sohan trailing the play and actually gets a nasty block on that. So it's plays like that, right? Those have nothing to do with X's and O's and schemes and concepts. It's just a guy out there that's going to be a beast on the floor, and it's going to make it very hard for the other team to do things, right? And it's like that's Sohan year one, right? That's what we need Sohan to be. So we want to see him get more comfortable so he can make more impact plays while he's on the floor. Enough to say he should be starting over anyone else? No, not yet, right? Went from number 9 to number 20. Now, Malachi Branham, man, came out here and looked like an NBA veteran. I remember telling you guys in a couple different episodes that this guy has a skill set that is so mature, right? It's so mature. I like to say that it doesn't look like he's doing a lot, but it looks like that's by design, right? If you're a coach and you're seeing him out there, you understand why he is not making this cut, why he's not moving over to this side of the floor or anything like that. He just balances things out with his IQ. And every time he touched the ball, guys, I mean, dude, the guy's a bucket. I mean, he's gonna catch and pull. I think I remember I have a reel out there on Instagram where it was like, he scored 20-some points on 4 dribbles, right, in the summer league, right? Just on one dribble pull-ups or one dribble laying it up. He's not going to put the ball on the floor. He's able to shoot the 3, so more like Klay Thompson-esque is maybe more of a, after this game, more of a comparable. Branham had a couple nice shots. I really liked the way he worked around a screen. They were setting this double back screen for him. He's real smart. Like he's moving and he's thinking and he's watching that defense and he's understanding, okay, my shot's coming from here, or I got a flare on this screen, or I got to go over on this screen, or I'm gonna have the defender. He's very just intuitive. He's just a very very high IQ scorer for being 19 years old, guys. It's extremely impressive, and the shot looked good. Didn't look rushed. Looked fluid. So I'm looking forward to see Malachi Brano actually making himself a little bit more known this year than maybe even I expected. I expected him to be behind a lot of guys and not really get opportunity, but I mean, he showed last night he can score the ball. All right, so now let's look at Blake Wesley. I took a screenshot of this one here. This was at the end of halftime. There's zero point 0.8 seconds left, and basically Blake Wesley just stopped playing, let him shoot it, didn't defend him. It was just like, all right, go ahead. You're not going to make it. And then what happened? He made it. He made it. I've seen Pop rip Primo last year, I think like 3 or 4 times for blowing the defensive possession at the end of a quarter, at the end of the half. Oh man, that drives you nuts. I mean, like, this is a preseason game, so it was probably like whatever. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they told Blake, like, bro, if you give up on a play like that, or you just stop playing because you think the time's running out, it's like you're gonna be on the bench, dude. You're gonna be on the bench. Now, other than that, though, Blake showed a lot of great things too. Showed some pretty athleticism on some pretty nice athleticism on the defensive end. I like to see him recover and be in his spots. He had a couple nice finishes at the rim. Not really seeing him do too much on offense. That's a good thing. We don't need to see him do too much on offense. We just really need to see him be able to keep the pressure, keep the pace, know when to score, know when to find someone to that's open. And there was a few instances in this game where he was able to make the right reads coming off a screen and roll, or being able to deliver an on-point pass to a shooter that's coming off double screen or whatever. And he's gonna, until Primo gets back and we kind of see what the plans are for Primo, at the point guard spot. I think Blake Wesley is going to be very, very, very involved. There were so many mistakes just in general. You could tell that communication is still a little baby. It's in its infancy. The team hasn't worked on communicating all that well on either side of the floor, really. You're seeing the veterans just being who they are. Doug McDermott, I think I didn't get to touch on him, but I think he's going to be extremely valuable to us this year because he's just like a pressure release valve. When we can't get a bucket, if we can just find him for an open shot, and if he can get it off, he's going to help out these young guys. But overall, nothing too scary. Yes, we got blown out. Defense was terrible. So many easy baskets and transition, just not knowing who's guarding who. You know what I mean? Like, there's just one guy open on the backside, and how is he open? Why is he open? Just a lot of that stuff, which just comes with preseason basketball. It's like, hopefully by the end of preseason, some of those things are fixed. So the Spurs have Orlando on the next preseason game. I believe that's Thursday. So, we'll talk a little bit about that and see if we can see anything else that kind of pokes its head out a little bit more than other things. All right. So really appreciate y'all for stopping by and for subscribing to this channel. Thank you guys for liking all the YouTube shorts that I've been putting out. Really appreciate it. It's been helping grow the channel. Thank you all so much. Like this video. If you want to leave a super thanks, you can, or become a member. That goes above and beyond to helping this channel kind of keep going, to help me pumping out. As you can see, I'm at work right now, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this done for my guys there at work, for Spurs Nation, all right, for Spurs Tube TV followers and subscribers. So thank you guys. Have a great one, and I will catch you on the next episode.